John Razimus Houston here. I decided to ghost investigate behind a business. The business name is not important. The location happens to be haunted because of just the negative things that take place back here. It's the location where the dumpster is, and the dumpsters are continually moved around, and homeless people take up residence where the dumpsters are supposed to be. And we're talking, I've seen some pretty bad stuff back here, and I'm sure way worse things have happened that I have not seen. But just graffiti in general. One thing that jumps out is devil was written in someone's blood. That's pretty freaky. I took a picture of it because I knew people might not believe it. But devil was written. Proof that there's some type of negativity here. Let's look at this graffiti right here. It says, "No ghost allowed." That's interesting. No ghost allowed. And then there are spirits in this location. You see, this is what I'm talking about. The blood. On the concrete, D-E-V-E-L. Devil. Spelled incorrectly, so perhaps the author isn't too literate, but that's neither here nor there. Negative vibes take place here. Let me tell you, I have a story. I was back here. I made an action with my hands. And 2 days later, I was taking out the trash. And I saw a homeless man make that same action that I made with my hand. And he was turned to not face me. So he didn't even see me. He might have heard me, but he didn't see me. And almost like he became possessed, and almost like a negative spirit showed itself through using this unfortunate individual as a puppet. These are just anecdotal stories to you, but I saw them firsthand. The night that I decided to investigate, there happened to be some type of a hoarding individual with many, many, many carts. We're talking like 4 or 5 carts jam-packed to the max of items. If I was homeless, I would probably choose to go the carefree route with a backpack and maybe a bedroll, and that's it. But I understand the mentality of a human being wanting to have as many physical items of comfort, even in a comfortless world where they don't have a permanent residence, they don't have a permanent home. They probably want a lot of blankets, they want a lot of changes of clothes. They got to bring it with them. Whatever the case, I think such an individual is going to have a negative spirit following them around. And that's not to single this person out. I think I personally have a negative spirit following me around as well. But I walked around this dumpster area, and I didn't expect anything. But I was obviously looking for some evidence of spirits, and I did get evidence on this static meter. This is a static field meter that is only set off when a high amount of static electricity is within inches or encompassing the sensors connected by a wire. To do this with your hands, you have to be particularly statically charged and like 1 inch away from the device. Or if you position it, you can angle it to set it off and get some false reads. I've used this device for years, nearly 4 years. I'm very familiar with how the device works. I could probably open it up and reverse engineer it if I wanted to, but I don't feel the need to because it works precisely how it should. When other spirit meters fail, this one seems to succeed to an extreme degree. And some might say it's not scientific, but it is. See, static electricity sets it off, period. It's that simple of a device. Static electricity doesn't float down the road, doesn't float down the back alleys, okay? Static electricity is a very localized electricity. And it's a very, scientifically speaking, very rarely researched A lot of people think static electricity is just regular residual electricity on a balloon or on some foil paper or on a plastic bag. But it's more unknown than that. There is an actual branch of NASA that have a static field research department. It's that much of a big deal. Now, they probably research it for reasons of spacecraft and spacesuits, so everything goes smoothly and no mechanical, electronical mistakes happen in outer space where the greatest risks are involved. But there is an unknown mystery, a secret, involving static electricity. Electrostatic fields, they're not exactly the same as EMF fields, electromagnetic fields. So a lot of ghost investigators are going to be investigating electromagnetic fields, and they totally ignore static fields because they don't know. They don't know that spirits, to an extreme degree, can not only manipulate electromagnetic fields, but a completely different type of field, a static field. If you see someone that says they're the same field, you're going to be hearing someone that doesn't know that they're two completely different fields. Can they mingle and become the same field? Most definitely. Like many things in this universe, a static field and an electromagnetic field can be tangled up and become the same thing. But they're actually two completely separate things. They're completely two separate fields. It's kind of like the different spectrums of light. You're going to get many different spectrums of light all rolled into one. But there are many different types of spectrums of light, some of them completely invisible and unknown. The same goes with the different electric fields. Static electricity, completely different than electromagnetic fields. So EMF, milligauss, it's different. Static fields are measured on a totally different level. Volts, measured on floating volts. Okay? EMF isn't measured on floating volts. So I wish I did have a more scientifically minded device which told exactly how many volts are floating in the air. And I have researched and picked up a couple that do that very thing. But they don't brightly light up in the dead of night. So this device is very good for showing there's an immense amount of static electricity floating around this back alley here, and it shouldn't be here. It's intelligent. This is 100% authentic evidence that spirits exist in this particular location. Not to scare anybody that happens to be near this location, because as I said, it's probably a spirit following this homeless person, which is unfortunate. But I think spirits are very indiscriminate. I think they follow the rich, the poor, the in-between. Spirits follow everybody. If anyone has been watching this channel for a while, they know that my personal opinion is every single human from birth to death has a familiar spirit. Intelligent spirit activity. It's a haunted location. Thanks, Spirit, for setting this off. I appreciate it. Wow. I gotta go back to work now. Very strong activity. Thanks. Can you set it off again so I can get the view of the moon? Wow, thank you. One more time? Can you set it off again? One last time, come on. This is my last day, come on. So I can get a good moon shot. Spirit, can you set it off again, please? Do you prefer the low shot? Well, thank you anyway for setting it off. Appreciate it. There's always resistance. Asking them to do something twice, you rarely will get them to do that thing twice. Let's move on. So I'm inside a building close to this dumpster. Anonymous location doesn't matter. I had to mute the volume on this. Why? Because there happens to be music playing in the background, and I didn't want it to be recognized. So the music aside, I'm just going to walk you through what happened. I'm walking through this location. I set down the meter. I ask the spirit to set it off. We see the temperature change a couple times, but that's not much. And then I put down the static meter. The red right side goes off. Intelligent spirit entity sets it off. How do I know? Because it's very smooth and very precise. It's set off, it goes down, and then the green side smoothly is set off and then turns off. When you see the smoothness of the right side go off, and then the left side go off in such a smooth manner. I've seen this before many times, dozens of times, only by spirit entities. So I know of a surety at this point there's a spirit in this room with me. And I say, hey spirit, can you please set off the other devices? It's very common. We're talking 9 times out of 10. The spirit will refuse to set off the other devices. 9 times out of 10, the spirit will be like, ha 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 ha. I set off one of them by accident, or maybe it was on purpose. But I'm not going to give too much evidence to your viewers. I'm not going to give too much evidence to this planet Earth, not you, mortal. I'm not going to give too much evidence. Forget you. That's really the attitude I tend to take away from these spirit entities. They don't ever want to give too much evidence that they exist. So these many scientists out there scoffing and mocking and making fun of the humans that try to record this data. The spirits don't want the data out there as much as the scientists don't want to accept what is out there. The spirits obviously know they exist. The scientists obviously don't know they exist. But the spirits and the scientists tend to be on the same page on not wanting a great amount of evidence to come forward. But there always are a few scientists here and there that will go out on a limb and say, that's unknown. That's actually scientifically unknown. I'll admit that. And then there will be some spirits that will break the regular balance of, I'm not going to give you anything. And here's a rare scenario. A spirit just set off the right meter on the very right. And here, as I'm talking about some spirits having the ability to phase in and out, both EMF-wise and static meter-wise. I'm talking about invisible spirits and their invisibility. I'm talking about invisible spirits and their ability to phase in and out of the dimension. Specifically, when this happens with the tri-field meter on the left. It spikes. Wow. We got a 1.5 spike on the tri-field meter. It goes from a 0.1 to a 0.6 to a 1.5 milligauss spike. I'll tell you, 1.5 EMF spike within seconds of an independent field of a static field spike to the right, and then within inches an electromagnetic field spike to the left of a 1.5. See, I specifically asked the spirit to set off one of the other devices, and it actually did. Very rare. When I say 9 times out of 10 this doesn't happen, sometimes it could be 99 out of 100 times it doesn't happen. It really depends on your luck and how cooperative the spirits are. Let me just tell you from experience, they're usually not cooperative at all. They're usually extremely uncooperative. And one of the reasons why ghost hunters don't get amazing data for scientists. But even if I did get all 3 devices set off, even if I asked the spirit to set every device off, and the first one to set it off as a 5.5, and the middle one to set it off as a 5.5, and the right one to set it off for 5 seconds, proving over-the-top extreme intelligence, a scientist would still reject and deny that data, even if I got that, which that would be psychotically impressive and rare of a scenario to get an exact number to go off 3 times in a row. But to get the tri-field meter to spike and the static meter to spike, why not the middle meter? Because they always have to hold back. During this entire recording, I'm just drinking a Baja Blast from Taco Bell. And I show context of how far these devices are from me. I pull the camera back to show you how far it is from me. These devices are, I don't know, they're probably 3 feet away from me on a table. Not particularly extremely far away from me, but not close enough for me to do anything. Not close enough for me to set them off in any way, shape, or form. We have some empty plugs behind the devices, but they are not emitting anything. Those are phone jacks. They're not setting off anything, trust me. This is very good data and very good evidence. I would say this is better than the outside evidence, but the outside evidence is consistent over and over and over and over. I'll tell you one thing. The spirit that set off the device outside is not familiar to me in the way that it set it off. The spirit near the dumpsters, it set off both sides at the same time. I've literally never seen that happen, ever. I've never seen both sides, the green and the red side, set off at the same time. That's got to be the craziest footage I've filmed in a long time. I'm very grateful I captured this. But as I said, seeing both sides, okay, I'm seeing a light anomaly fly into the device when they both go off. I'm curious if it's 2 different spirits setting it off from each side, or if it's a spirit flying into the device. I don't know. But I am seeing other light anomalies. It's kind of hard to see them, but they are there. Wow. Thank you for watching. This is my latest ghost hunt. I will continue to investigate spirits. Sometimes I don't capture anything. Some people might think, oh, why do you capture all this stuff when everyone else captures nothing? Or they might say the opposite. They might say, oh, this TV show captures stuff way better than you. Well, it really is trial and error, and trying and trying and trying, and you have to throw away 99% of your footage because you don't capture anything interesting. And only upon examining the footage extremely closely can you sometimes see this light anomaly you didn't see in real time. Very interesting. If I ever capture something amazing, Trust me, it will be on this channel. I will upload it because I'm working full time. I have to go to work right now. I don't have all the time in the world to edit, but I will be editing this video tonight, and I'm going to be uploading it and getting it to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. This has been John Razimus Houston. Until next time, be seeing you.